Hello guys, welcome back to our introduction to program with Python series. So in this video, we're going to be looking at working with directories in Python. So I'm going to be looking at this very famous Python module called the OS module, which helps you to interact with your underlying operating system and help you to create folders and navigate folders, change directory and stuff like that. So we're going to be learning how to work with directories and navigate, change paths within our directory and stuff like that, all programmatically using Python. So let's jump into it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create another folder. In here, I'm going to call it directories, just like that. So I have directories folder created, and inside of this folder, I'm going to go ahead and create a file, and I'm going to say this pardon be part underscore 32.py. Okay. So once I have this done, I'm going to go ahead and import the OS module. So I'm going to say import OS, and this is a built-in Python module that you can just use. So once I have imported OS, I can just go ahead and simply say the first one to do is just get the current work okay current working directory. So working directory, so the current working directory is going to return to you the currently working directory. So it's a print os.get current working directory cwd, and it's going to, if you run the code, it's going to return to you the current working directory. So let me change directory back, and I change directory into my directory folder. And once I'm in there, I'm going to simply do python 3 and then run that. So you can see the current directory in which I'm working from is called home, prints, desktop, content, tutorials, introduction to Python, and then / directory. I mean, that's the directory that you're working, right? This folder right here. So it gives us a current working directory. Good. You can also list a list of all directories that we have. So we say list all directories. So you say print os dot list there, and just like that, and call that function or that method. And once I run the code, it should return to me all the current directories that I have, all basically my directory tree. And I just have one file there called python python underscore 31.32.py. So let me just go ahead and create another folder in here. Just it's not a file, a folder. I'm going to call it, this is gonna be sum underscore directory. This is a test folder. So once I have this done, I will just go ahead and run the code again. Now you can see we have some directory, and you also have test32.py. So you can see all that information. So what if you want to maybe like see the content of text directory? So you can maybe let's create another folder in here called some test underscore some test file or some test.txt. Okay, let's call it some text.txt. So instead of some directory, we have a file there called some text.txt. So let's say that you want to change directory, because if you print our current working directory, we are inside of this directory, right? So if you go back in here and run the code again, we are inside of our directories folder. So now let's say that you want to change into some directories folder. So let's try to do that programmatically. So let's say change directory, right? Directory. So how do you change directory? You're going to simply go ahead and say os.change draw, and then you go ahead and pass in the name of the directory that you want to change to. So I want to change to dot / and directory name is called some underscore directory, just like that. So once I go ahead and change into that directory, I can go ahead and simply do a print os.get get working directory, and let's see, after you change directory, you can see now we are now inside of some directory, some underscore directory. So now you have changed from directories into some directories. So good, that's how you can change into another directory in there. So now let's try to make another folder inside of this folder that we have. So we have some directory. Let's try to create another folder inside of it. So to do that, you can also just go ahead and do the function. So you can say, let's say make folder. So let's make folder. You can say os.mk make directory, and then if you are, and then you pass in the test underscore, let's say some folder. Let's call it some underscore folder, just like that. So we're going to create that, and once we have that, you can just go ahead and simply say print os.list there, and it's going to list for us all the directories and files of that content. So basically, you're going to change into this folder, and you're going to go ahead and simply create a new folder inside of it, right? Once you have the folder created, you are listing the content of the sum folder, sum directory, because we're inside of the sum directory. So let's run the code again. Now we can see we are in there. So I have to actually call this function. Okay, so call this function. So if I run the code again, you actually get an error because we're trying to create a folder which is some folder which already exists. Let me delete that folder. Just delete it, move it to trash, and then let's run the code again. So if I run the code, now you can see we are inside of some text.txt, and also have some folder, which are these two right here. some text some folder, and then some text.txt, and they're inside of the some directory which we changed into, right? So good. Let's try it now. Let's go ahead. If I run this code again, it won't work. So let's just let me just comment out all this part, okay? Because you're trying to create a folder that already exists, so you create an error. So you can use an exception there if you want. You can try to handle that using an exception. By the way, let's try to apply our exception handling skills here. So you can say try, and then you try this, and then you just sorry, let me just and do that properly. So tap that, and then we also have except, and then just simply print let's say some exception happened. Okay, some exception happened, just something simple like that. So if I go ahead and write the code, so our program won't crash, we just get some exception happened. Good. So now let's try to go ahead and actually delete a directory. How do you delete a directory? So just go ahead and simply say os dot rm draw, and then you pass in the name of the directory that you want to delete. So since you have changed path into a some directory, let's try to delete the directory that you have just created. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this path and just paste it in there. So that should now delete it, and once it's deleted, I want to go ahead and view the content of that file, of that folder. So okay, so once I have that, I run the code again. So now you can see now we have deleted it, and now if you view the content of it, it was previously having more stuffs, but now we only have this part of some directory. So if I go in here, you can see now we don't have that folder anymore because you have deleted it, right? So good. Again, you're trying to do something that does not exist anymore, so you can also actually as well move this folder, move this into the except block. Okay. Okay, so now once we have that done, we can also go ahead and delete we can delete a non-empty folder. This can only work for a folder that does not have content, right? So you can use this on a folder that has content. So if I go back in here, let me just bring this code outside here and just fix that indentation. So if I bring this code outside in here and run the code again, we have created that folder which is right here. Some folder. Let me see. Mkdir make some folder. Make some folder. I don't see that folder being created. Okay, some folder should have been created, but I don't see it right here. Some directory, does it have any folder? So let me just go ahead and actually manually create this. I'm going to say some underscore folder. Okay, I have that created. So I'm just gonna move this back in here and then fix that indentation. Okay, so now I have some folder already created. Actually, we don't need this code. I can just comment it out. So now we have some folder created. Now let me just add some file into this and just say let me just add some file. Let me say, okay, before I even add some file, let me try to delete it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say os.rmdraw and then simply pass in what I want to delete, which is actually I have the code already here, so I can just copy it and paste it here. So I'm going to delete the content of that folder. So if I run it, the content is going to be deleted. So now you can see we don't have that folder. Okay, so let me just go ahead and create the folder again, and I'm going to call it some underscore folder. And instead of it, I'm going to have a file. I'm going to call this one some underscore file dot txt. So I'm going to have some file dot txt in there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and try to delete this folder again. Now is it going to work? Let's try it out. It doesn't work because the directory, it says that the directory not empty, right? So the directory is not empty, so you can delete a non-empty directory in Python using this, unless you have to, we can import shuttle, and then I think it's called shuttle, yeah. And you can import shuttle, and then you can say os dot you can sorry you can say shuttle dot remove rm3, so rm3, and then pass in the folder in which you want to delete. So I'm going to pass in some underscore folder. Okay, so if I pass in some folder and then go ahead and run the code again, now you should be able to delete the some folder, because sham3 deletes everything, including the previous including an empty folder. So let's go ahead and so delete this directory called some directory. Okay, so this right now we are inside of some directory, so I want to go ahead and change my directory back. So I can just copy that part of the code and simply paste it here. Okay, so let me just comment this out for now, because that directory doesn't exist anymore. So instead of changing into that directory, I want to change 2 steps back. So I'm saying dot dot, and then it's going to change 2 steps back. So we're going to change from in here into the main directory folder, and then from there I want to go ahead and delete it. So I'm going to say shuttle dot rm3, and then pass in it's called some underscore directory. just like that. So if I go in here, run the code again, now you should be able to delete the some folder, some directory folder. So good. That's basically how we can work with folders, navigating and stuff like that. So the OS module is quite really powerful, but this is an introduction to the OS module. I don't want to go into depth about it in depth. So that's basically an introduction to an OS module and how to use an OS module in Python. There's a lot more functionality that comes to OS, just a ton of functionality to help you to interact with your underlying operating system. But for now, that's basically it with OS module. So thanks for watching again. If you enjoyed this so far, make sure you like this video, you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and share this content with anyone you think might find it helpful. Again, you can check out the videos, the introduction to programming with Python series from the very beginning, in case you want to learn programming learn Python. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Keep safe.